With the words of the famous Beatles song, "Here Comes the Sun," and here it is if you applaud loud enough, I will pass on the baton to Andrew Kay, who will say a few words. And thank you.
Well, good afternoon. Welcome, Governor. Thank you for coming. And Cynthia, thank you and your staff for having us here today. We're here to highlight another example of the new Vermont economy. Governor, this isn't the first ribbon cutting or line cord cutting that you've done for solar systems in Vermont. You've seen many different projects with diverse renewable energy technologies as well. Different applications, residential, commercial, utility scale solar, different structures of how they get funded and put together with power purchase agreements and leases and outright purchases and so forth. You've seen them from the south of the state to the north of the state, all over our region. Solar does work in Vermont. Vermont's a leader in renewable energy and energy efficiency. Group net metering has been a very important thing for us. The SPEED program and standard offer program, the state incentives and solar adder all add to a healthy renewable energy economy here that we're a part of and we're thankful for. Efficiency Vermont is an organization that does a great job of reducing energy demand in the state. The 2011 Energy Plan is an impressive, comprehensive document that lays out some ambitious goals. 90% renewable energy by 2050, most notable among them. There are many aspects of that plan for energy efficiency, renewable energy, heating, transportation, smart land use, and so forth, all of which lead to good things for Vermont. That can mean new jobs, more personal income, higher gross state product, and more business sales income. That's all with the backdrop in the nation of a tough economy and many energy challenges. A study done for the Edison Foundation in Washington called "Transforming America's Power Industry, the Investment Challenge 2010 to 2030, quotes a figure of $1.5 to $2 trillion that needs to be spent over the next 20 years, a short period of time, on new generation, distribution, and transmission costs in this country. That's a huge number. And to put that into perspective, the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act in 2009 cost this country about $787 billion. So it would be about 2.5 times the size of what was a historical expenditure back in 2009. So we have some very big challenges in this country to meet our growing power requirements and to provide for our future. The opponents would say, go slow, take your time and study it. Why go faster than other New England states around us? Some might say, does solar really work in Vermont? And some would say, how can we afford to do this in these hard economic times? Our response would be that it's a job that has to be done, and that's what leadership is all about. And we've never needed leadership more than at this time. We know solar works. We know renewable energy works. We know that renewable energy is a critical part of our future, and that renewable energy and energy efficiency programs create jobs and reduce our costs of energy in the future. So in closing, Governor, we applaud you for your efforts to date and what you've done in a short period of time. We pledge to continue with our efforts to make renewable energy happen in Vermont, and to support you in your efforts with what you're doing at the state level. Once again, thank you for coming, and once again, Cynthia, congratulations on a great installation here at the Sojourns Health Center, and we wish you well, and we'll support you in that effort.
I don't usually write a speech, but it seemed like it's good at 5 o'clock this morning, so not a good idea. So I'm going to read it, I think. So thank you all for coming. Oh, sorry, I'm going to read it close to the microphone. Thank you all for coming. I realize I need to be brief, but I do want to take a moment to acknowledge our gratitude to the governor and of all the people who have contributed to this exciting occasion. We're incredibly proud of the new solar array and all that it represents to us and our community. In addition to the benefits that the array offers us financially and as a means to contributing to a healthier environment, the panels also represent a tangible symbol of the embodiment of the work Sojourns is so committed to and has been actively engaged in over the last 10+ years. Our mission is to be a model for change in healthcare. Our goal is to contribute to a healthier world for us all. Our passion is to help our community thrive. We know that healthy people create healthy communities. Our new solar panels reflect our fervent belief that our individual and collective well-beings are intimately connected to and dependent upon healthy environments in every sense of that word, environment, from the ground up and the sundown and everything in between. We are truly blessed to live in a community and a state where we still have the ability to access and protect the gifts of local agriculture, sustainable energy, and strong, committed people who work together towards improved well-being and quality of life. I'd like to specifically acknowledge some of the many individuals and groups that have supported our work and continue to do so. Sojourns would not have become who we are or been able to serve our community, nor be making the impact we believe possible without the support and vision of our founders, who include Linda Haltoner and Senator White. I don't know if Senator White is here, and others. Our board of directors, who include Representative Carolyn Partridge, Hillary Cook, and Angela Walton. Our dedicated staff, whose everyday commitment to their work inspires our ability to continue to strive to fulfill our mission, despite the challenges plaguing our healthcare system, which you and I will talk about at another time, Governor. Our local community of Westminster, where we now have 3 solar installs and a methane burner, thanks in part to the vision and support of the town leadership, some of whom I believe is here as well. Our local farm families, including Paul Harlow, who farms our land, the Bazin family across the street, and the Goodells down the road, all of whom work incredibly hard to produce healthy food for our tables and are so committed to keeping our land in agricultural use for the good of all and for generations to come. USDA Rural Development, who recognized our value to this community and supported us where even local banks feared to tread. And special thanks, of course, to our donors and patients, and all who have contributed to and supported our growth over the last 10 years. And for this project specifically, I'd like to thank the folks at Integrated Solar and All Earth Renewables, and also the legislature and Green Mountain Power. I don't know if Deb Wood is still here. Working together, they've made these projects like ours possible and affordable. This was truly a combined effort and a testament to what becomes possible when there's vision and a desire to make a difference. At Sojourns, we have an expression we adopted from another successful, innovative company, Sojourns Special Sauce. In a few minutes, I hope you'll get a taste of that sauce when you head outside to the panels. I'd like to invite anyone who'd like to take a place along the line of electrical cords we've strung between the panels, between the trackers. Rather than cut a ribbon, we've decided to ask Governor Shumlin to plug together 2 of the cords as a symbol of both the power we are generating from the array and contributing to the grid, and also the power we each have together and as a group to make our world a better place. To quote Margaret Mead, never underestimate the power of a small group of committed people to change the world. In fact, it's the only thing that ever has.
Thank you, Cynthia. Well done. Thank you, Andy. Thanks to Andy's team. Where's all his team? Right back there somewhere. Where'd they go? Also want to thank Deb Woods, Green Mountain Power. Deb, are you back there? Come on, get up here. We're letting you hide in the back. You know, Deb happens to work for one of the utilities that cares deeply about renewables in this state. Thank you.
Come on.
Appreciate all you're doing.
Yeah.
Folks, Deb's harder to get on the phone than President Obama, but we're glad you're here. There you go. And to all the partners, Paul Hart for helping to make this possible. You know, it's good to be back on home turf and to see so many of my neighbors. I know you haven't seen much of me, they keep me kind of busy, but it's good to be home. And it's great to be here at Sojourn where we're putting together preventative health care, recognizing that not all health care began when Louis Pasteur came along. But that we can go back earlier and find great things to help make people healthy in Vermont, as well as renewable energy. And those two, combined with the great work Paul is doing, helping to grow quality food that's sold locally to ensure that Vermont has the best food in America. This is all good. This is where it all comes together. This is where the rubber hits the road. I just want to say a couple things about this installation and how quickly we're moving, but how we cannot move quickly enough. If you look down the road, Paul Harlow's got a whole load of solar panels down there. Clayton's up the road here, the farm, generating a little bit of cow power. We're starting to make real progress. Vermont's leading the rest of the country in renewables. But I say we can't move fast enough, and the evidence is pretty simple. When you all were good enough in Wyndham County to elect me governor, I anticipated all kinds of challenges. But I didn't anticipate that I'd be managing 4 major storms. First, we had the biggest blizzard ever recorded in Vermont history. That's kind of a big one last March. Then we had the floods of April. Then we had the floods of May. Had to bring in FEMA. President Obama helped us get resources in here. Lots of people lost their homes. Lots of people lost their businesses. Little brooks turned to big, huge gaping rivers. Huge damage was done. And then, of course, the 4th being in August with Irene that I don't need to refresh your memories on in this part of Vermont. The point is this. If human beings don't believe that the storms that we've managed in the last 13 months as governor are an example of what lies ahead for us as a civilization, as we continue to burn fossil fuels, I would ask you to please rethink your position. It's an example of what lies ahead. If you look out the window right now, I can tell you this ain't the winters we had when Deb and I were kids in Westminster West. It ain't. We used to get snow. We didn't get storms like that. Things were different. It wasn't 46 degrees in January, and it wasn't 46 degrees in February. So we can't move fast enough with this installation, with all the other installations across Vermont. I say we can't move fast enough to harness the sun, the wind, the water through small hydro, our streams, our woods through biomass, and obviously our fields. We can do it in Vermont. We can show the rest of the country that you don't need an aging, leaking nuclear power plant to power your future. You don't need a power plant run by folks that can't tell the truth to power your future. We can do it with small, generated, community-based power. That's exactly what you're seeing here. Now, forgetting the climate for a minute, I want to say a word about economics. I was elected governor at a time when Vermonters on average are making the same money they were making a decade ago. And I think about that every single day, 7 days a week, when I wake up in this state to help get our economy moving. This is an example of how we create jobs. We are now exporting hundreds of millions of dollars from this little state to countries that mostly don't like us, that then destroy the planet when they burn what they sell us. We have a choice. We can continue to do that and make this planet unlivable for our kids and our grandkids. Or we can do what we're doing today, harness the sun. It seems like a pretty clear choice. Now let me talk about the economics of this project. David Blittlesdorf, one of the co-founders of NRG System, was sitting in a restaurant in Burlington, Vermont one day, and he took out a napkin. And he drew on that napkin the solar trackers that we're about to clip the ribbon on. And he said, we don't need to build these in China. We don't need to build these in India. We're going to build them right here in Vermont. So there's the beginning of change. He figured that if he could design, as an engineer who grew up in Vermont, graduated from UVM as an engineering school, a solar tracker that would actually follow the sun instead of being fixed on a roof or fixed on the ground, he'd get 45% more power out of that solar panel than he would on a fixed unit. And guess what? That's what we're about to put the plugs together for. Built right here in Vermont, empowering Vermonters, hiring Vermonters, feeding Vermont families. Then you have Andy Kay and his team. They come in and they install the unit. Every single penny stays in Vermont. Then Green Mountain Power hooks it up to the line, and all their linemen and women stay in Vermont. Then we sell the juice, any excess juice that isn't used by Sojourn, to other Vermonters. Now it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out this is creating jobs. Guess what? Unemployment rate from the peak of the recession has gone from almost 8% to 5.1%. Where these solar panels were built, Chittenden County, they have the 4th lowest unemployment rate right now in America. In America. We're making progress. We're digging out. If anyone doesn't believe that moving to small, community-based renewables creates jobs and economic opportunities for the people of the wisdom to engineer them, put them up, and use them, I would suggest you're missing out on the next huge evolution that's going to power our economy and make this planet more livable for my kids, for your kids, and for future generations. So, huge opportunity. My hat's off to Sojourn and the entire team for making this step. We're going to win this battle by 1,000 shots like this one that allows us to achieve energy independence in Vermont, bashing the other 49 states, create jobs and economic opportunities. So my hat is off to all of you. Let's plug the plugs. All right.